Hey everyone, welcome to Unleash with Megan, the podcast where we have conversations that change lives by diving deep into the art and science of living life, overcoming challenges, and sharing the stories that shape who we are. I'm your host, Megan Rovnak, and today I am joyful and honored to welcome Paula Washington. Paula is a business and leadership strategist, a speaker, an author of the Encore Playbook and the Encore Reset Journal. She specializes in guiding accomplished women and professionals through pivotal transitions and encore careers so they can step into their next chapter with clarity, strategy, and confidence. Paula, thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell us your story.
Thank you so much, Megan. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this all day. Oh, my story is so interesting. Yes, I was downsized in corporate and couldn't find work because, of course, I'm overqualified. I was going through a transition at the time myself personally. And so, guess what? I go to the SBA to get a loan for my business, is what I thought. And they, at that moment, didn't have a program. But of course, because I'm a trainer and I do training and development, I pulled out a course that I had and redesigned it for them. And the Atlanta Women's Resource Center, my course was the first one they used for their training program because they had funds, but they didn't have a program. So I got paid that day and I became the spokesperson. So that was from corporate to entrepreneurship. And then, you fast forward earlier in the 2020, I've had several family members pass away. It caused me to look at my mortality. And in that, I realized that I was actually living by Encore in my late 60s. And in doing so, I was like, well, what are the women younger than me? How are they going to get there? And what is my responsibility in that? And so when I started to write the book, I looked at my great grandmother who went to college and graduated in 1894, cum
Wait, wait,
laude.
wait. She graduated from college in 1894.
Yes, yes.
That's
And
amazing.
it is. It wasn't even supposed to happen, for her. And then my grandmother, her daughter, went to Juilliard, became a concert pianist, and she ended up. She also was a real estate broker because her parents couldn't purchase their own home, and they had a business. My great grandfather's attorney had to buy it for them, because and so she sold homes to people who couldn't get into certain neighborhoods because of what she experienced. And then when I looked at my mom, who was the first female manager in a Citibank branch in New York, and the only other women were tellers. You could imagine what it was like for her. And I was like, wow. When I looked at resilience, when I looked at leadership, I realized it wasn't a skill; it was my responsibility that I had to, as the granddaughter and the daughter of these women, I had to, come out again, relaunch my brand, and bring that message out about being that leader in your life in a different way. So many of us think there's so many cliches, there's so many programs, there's so many all of these things. But at the end of the day, who are you really? Where did that identity come from? I didn't just become who I was. These women paved the way for me. And I've had incredible men and women in my life who have mentored me in different ways and have deposited great things in me. And so have other people. And even if you didn't have anyone in your family, perhaps you're the trailblazer that's actually supposed to do that. Because when I realized the responsibility on me, and now, of course, I'm the go-to now for the wisdom. so, so since that's the case, I better start writing some stuff down. It was so funny. My sister, we had, went through everybody's things and all, and we got all of the recipes from my grandmother, great grandmother, and my aunts, and my mom, and everybody. We got all those recipes, and she put a cookbook together called "So They Don't Forget." And she gave it out for Christmas to all of our, everybody. And it was so sweet because she put in there who wrote what, and she also translated, what they may have used is what you might use. We might use something different now. So with that, and with my background in training and development, with my background in leadership development, and I had a women's foundation for 12 years that I ran, teaching women, girls, and families how to build wealth, going from 2 to 1, after school programs in 5 counties here in Metro Atlanta, and all of those things that I've done. That really wasn't the crescendo or the success. It's now. I'm doing the best work now, and it's fun, and it's not work. I really want women to have fun doing business or whatever it is they want to do and make money. Can we just do that? Okay? And can we support one another along the way? Mm-hmm. All right? There's more than enough. Sometimes people think that, nobody's going to want what I have. Well, you know what? Somebody is going through what you're going through, and they're waiting to hear your voice to let them know that they can make it. And so it would have been selfish if I did not accept the charge or the baton after they all left. My mom was 90, my older sister was 97. They left 1 month apart, and the rest of them, but they left empty. They showed us everything. So what are we going to do? I had to do it. So leadership is a responsibility. And that's how I look at my life and look at who I am. It's a responsibility. I don't have the right to punk out now.
Oh, I love that. I don't have a right to punk out now.
But I'm going to travel and have a good time. Let's not get it twisted. We ain't working like I did back then when I was younger. I'm not doing all of that. But I'm going to provide the message. I'm going to share the message. And I'm going to help as many people as I can. I want to give away at least 50% of my IP just so to make sure that people have that understanding and understand about protocols and etiquette and communication and conversation. I ran across one of my aunts. She worked for Pacific Bell in California many, many years ago. And I ran across her typewritten communications class, teaching the secretaries in the pool where they would answer the phones, and I forget what you call those things. Anyway, and she actually had it step by step by step. How precious was that? But the techniques and the protocols of leadership and communicating was still the same today. It just was the equipment that was different. So that's how I got started.
That's amazing. So you mentioned at the beginning that your move into entrepreneurship was when you went through what so many people go through, is the business downsize, right size, change, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's when you had to leave corporate America, not necessarily because you chose to. What was that like for you? And when you were like, okay, I'm going to pivot this way, because some people you have different directions you can go when that mm-hmm. happens. And there are women right now that are in that position, right? Yes. Where just something unexpected happened and they have to make a choice, and they can go one of 20 different roads. What sort of drove your decision making, and what was it like to go through that?
Well, at the time, it was quite challenging because I was going through a divorce at the time. And so things weren't well there. There was a lot of transition and moving in the company and all of those things. So I didn't have the luxury of time to look at my emotions or to think about anything. Mm-hmm. I just had to make it work. And when I was looking for work and knowing I was overqualified, I was like, you know what? I'm a woman of faith. So I was praying and asking God, what am I going to do? And I had a sense, use what I've given you. I write courses. I used to, teach at my church and the community. I used to do a lot of volunteer work and offer a lot of things and all that. So that, I said, well, let me go set up a business. So that's when I went to the SBA to do that. and not realizing that I was walking into my destiny at the time, the beginning of it, because I had had businesses on the side selling clothes or doing different things, me and my cousins, but nothing more of a career. And to be perfectly honest, I did not want to go back full time because of the stress and the pressure. So I wanted contracts possibly, but not the responsibility of being there 5 days a week, And so I was afraid to step out to do that. And then when I was pushed out, it was like, oh, I got to take care of my child, I got things to do. I don't have time for this. So that was what it felt like. And then, I didn't have time to think about having confidence in myself or not. I didn't have time to think about will it work or won't. No, it's going to work. It has to work because I have to do this. I have to do something. And so when I got that first check for $250, I was like, yay! I was so excited. And other people may look at it, whatever, but I was excited because it was like, wow, that's validation. Okay, thank you, universe, for talking to me. Thank you, God. I'm going in the right direction.
And that makes such a difference. It can be the littlest thing. It's just that little nudge, that little yes, you're in the right direction. And I love that you were thinking about doing this anyway, but you were comfortable, right? You felt secure, you felt comfortable, and
Yes.
you had to get pushed, in your case, pushed out of your comfort zone. Some of us are pushed. I was definitely made uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
that's I wasn't pushed outside my comfort zone. I chose because my comfort zone was getting very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
Like
that's
where I
what
was,
happens.
yes, that's right. And that is what has to happen. I tell people that it's like they call it a rut. Well,
Hmm.
it's a rut because you get stuck in it because it's something that you're down in. And you
Exactly.
have to be uncomfortable enough to do the work to get out of it, whether you're ejected out of your rut or the rut becomes so uncomfortable that you're like, ugh, okay, I'll climb out of the rut. But comfort zone is never where the growth happens, ever, ever.
Not at all.
So that in your case, it was like, okay, now I'm gonna go do the thing I was thinking about doing, but I'm just gonna go do it.
Yeah. And and to your point about the comfort zone, in my generation, we were raised go to college, get married, work 30 years, retire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that model did not work for my generation. Most of us that got married young, I got married too young at 22, that was too young. It wasn't going to work because we were both too young. So it wasn't his fault or my fault. It just wasn't going to work. Thank God for my daughter. But the thing is, we making those grown up decisions, still being very young, and then have to rebound after that. So when it all falls apart at the same time, that is a wake up call to say, listen, none of this was ever designed for you this way, and it's not going to work. So either you can try to push that boulder up the hill, or you could walk away and go in another direction. And I chose to go in another direction. And it was difficult. It wasn't easy, but life is never going to be easy. There are easy times, there are joyful times, and there are smooth times and quiet times. But for the most part, it's the challenging moments that move you forward.
I don't remember what you just said really resonates with me. I don't remember where I saw this. It might have been a meme or something, but it was choose your hard, right? It's hard to work hard. It's hard to not have money. It's hard to work on a marriage. It's hard to get divorced. Like it's all different kinds of hard, but you just have to choose, right? It's hard to be fit. It's hard to be out of shape. It's hard. They're all hard. They all require work. And we use the word hard a lot. So maybe it's really they all require work. They all require effort. But you get to choose which effort you do. Either way, is going to have to be effort. So you choose which effort it's going to be because it should be the effort that drives you towards the outcome you intentionally selected rather than the one that you happened upon. And I
Exactly.
think
Because,
people
see, we're not.
definitely need to think through that a little and realize what you said too, right? That's no matter what it is, it's going to be hard. There's going to be effort.
Absolutely. You think about it, like it's like a 10-layer cake. Okay, all the layers go in the oven. They come out, they're cooling. Okay, so they're hot while they're in the oven. They're baking. They come out, they're cooling. Each layer is a little cooler or warmer than the other. You put the icing on, you put cover. So you don't know where you are in that 10-layer cake. If you're going in the oven, in the fire, and you got to figure it out on your way out,
Right.
or you sitting there resting until the frosting comes on top and the sweet and the storm is over. But either way it goes, you have to make a choice on how you're going to walk through.
Yeah.
And how you choose to walk through something allows you to get to the next, because we grow from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. And if you really want the vision and dream that's in your heart, you're the only one that can make the choice to go there.
Yeah, that's so true. So you went through you have this legacy of
Mhm.
amazing women in your
Mhm.
life. And then you went through this transition and you've had more than one encore. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, you've done
I'm in
this.
my late 60s. I've had an encore every decade. Every decade we got another one going. We have the encore caregiving, the encore parenting, and college, and the encore of my own illness. And what did I do? I went back and got another degree while I was healing through my illness. Caring for my father. I'm in the hospital and everybody's running around and I'm telling the doctors, look, he's not going to die. Just fix it. Get it done. And I'm turning the phones off now. And I got a tear down one eye and the other I'm sitting on a laptop creating a business plan for the Women's Foundation. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we smile through our tears and we understand that loss gives us a gift. And if we take the gift that loss gives us and learn from that, then we'll heal from all the other stuff we didn't grieve over. And we'll be free to take those lessons, package them, monetize them, or leverage them, and move forward. But we'll have less baggage we're carrying in our heart so that when we run into new people and new opportunities and new situations, we're not so weighed down with all of this weight of negativity that we shouldn't be carrying, and we'll be able to enjoy what's in front of us. Because a lot of times people are afraid of failure, afraid of missing out, afraid of all of this other stuff. The bottom line is, you're not a failure. It was the strategy. The strategy failed because you had the wrong plan, or you didn't plan, or you followed someone else's plan, or you bought somebody else's plan, or it wasn't time for that plan. You were not ready. The business wasn't ready. The company's not ready to promote you because you're not ready, or they're not ready, or that's not the place that you're supposed to elevate. Maybe that's the place you're supposed to learn and consider another place to go to grow. Who knows? But you're not a failure. It's the strategy. And you being a strategist and me being a strategist, we can talk all day long about this because people don't realize how important strategy is. And to have that critical thinking process in your brain working and looking at scenarios and how we could do this and how we can do that. That is so it's such a powerful tool. And it gives you confidence. Because we know you put a seed in the ground, it's not going to grow tomorrow. You're not going to have tomatoes or oranges or whatever it is you're planting. It's not coming up tomorrow. Same thing with a strategy. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but you're going somewhere. And what I try to tell women is when they're going through those dark seasons, and it is heavy, especially when you're caregiving, it changes you for life, and that's another story, another show. But if you have that little ray of hope, or that little light that's shining where you can see where you're going, you have a toy to play with. You have a place to go to in your mind, or you have a time where you're in between all the minutiae of the world, and you can sit there and play with your toy. And I might not be able to do it today, but I know I'm on my way to it. And I know that this situation is temporary. And that's the thing we don't know when we're younger. I didn't know when I was younger. I didn't know when I was younger time was my friend. It's my best friend. It's my greatest currency. It's time. Because we're only given 1,440 minutes a day. Everybody. So it's my best friend. And I didn't know that my history, all the crazy stuff, me being the fire in the frying pan and creating the fire and being the frying pan, all of that navigating the new, all the crazy and the chaos. I can tell the story and laugh at it now, but that was part of growing up.
Hmm.
And if
And it
I
makes
didn't,
such a difference when you can realize that. One of the things
exactly.
that I tell people all the time, especially when they're going through something difficult, and this took me several years to learn. I'm grateful that I learned it when I did, but it was a hard lesson. Every single time I really wanted something and it didn't work out, the thing that happened instead was better.
Yes,
Every
yes,
time.
yes,
So
yes,
now when something doesn't work out, like it's okay to have your moment and be like,
yeah.
that's a bummer, but
Mm-hmm.
don't lock in, don't get stuck, don't dwell because that wasn't the thing. You think it was, but you were wrong because it wasn't.
It
And it's
is
something else and if you just keep moving, you're going to get to that next other thing, that something else that it was actually going to be, that's actually going to be better for you. And when I see people going, and I've been through many difficult things, you've been through many difficult things, but look where we are, right? We're joyful, we're grateful, and we're excited to see what's going to happen next
and we look
because
great. We
that's
look
right.
wonderful. We don't look like what we've been through, thank you, God.
Right.
Yes,
And it's
so
important for people to realize that. And, I always want the whole point of this podcast is to be a platform for people to share their stories and teach the lessons that they learned because there is someone out there that needs to hear that lesson because you're helping someone. You might be helping lots of people, you might just be helping one person, but like this. The idea is that this literally changes somebody's life because they realize they're not alone. They're in that
exactly.
moment where something didn't work out and they hear us having this conversation and they're like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be okay because it unsticks them from
Mm-hmm.
that. And I've been trapped in that anger, that frustration, that sadness. Like I've gotten stuck, I've been mired down before,
Mm-hmm.
but every time I figured out a way out or somebody came along and helped.
Exactly.
And
And
it's
then
important
remember,
to it's important to accept the help people.
exactly, and know that you deserve it.
Hmm.
You deserve the best that life has to give you, and you deserve the help. And it's so funny because I had an opportunity with with a nonprofit um, to go to Oxford for economics and a certificate, and I was well excited, but I couldn't go. My dad was sick, and my daughter. I'm a single parent, so I couldn't go. I was mad. I was resentful and all upset. And then, might have been 8 months later, a company called me and said you were nominated to receive this scholarship to go to Yale for a certification in entrepreneurship. What? Who? And they never told me who, but they did tell me who the sponsor was. I don't want to say it, on thing, but it was a very well known company that sponsored me, and I was so shocked, and I was like, wow. If I had went to Oxford, first of all, it was economics. That's not the direction I was supposed to go in, but I always wanted to do it, nonetheless. But yeah, and I'm from New York, and I'm in Georgia now, and I got left back in third grade because they said I couldn't read. So they sent me to Columbia University for a whole year to sit with the department chair of the English department. And after a month, she said, "You don't have a problem reading. You need glasses." But they made me stay in the program for the whole year. So I graduated my class on time. I had to take a test, and I'm going to Columbia University one every Saturday for a whole year with the
Wow.
director of the English department because
Wow.
that was the program. Okay. And now, fast forward, that girl that got left back from the Bronx is now going to Yale. And I didn't have to pay a dime.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's a great story.
Nobody. But that is a miracle. And so you never know, because what I believe and what I've learned about life, what I see is not big enough for what I am scheduled to receive.
Mhm.
Everything that I'm scheduled to receive or what is supposed to come to me is far greater than what I thought it should be.
Mhm.
Some of the mentors that I've met and some of the Flory Roberts of Flory Roberts Cosmetics and Dermablend was mentored me for about 5 years in niche marketing. And she said, create a microphone that the big boys won't touch and stay on center stage of your life and let nobody move you. And she had built a business, for makeup and cosmetics for women of color at a time where Maybelline and all of them were trying to close her out. And it was quite the challenge of what she had to go through. But multi-million-dollar business. And then
That's
Dermablend for the granddaughter. So, you know, we don't know. I went to a conference that day and I chose her workshop because I wanted to meet her, not knowing that when I brought my business plan one sheet, that her Robert's Rules of Entrepreneurship, 4 of those rules were in my business plan.
oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
We don't know when you're in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just open,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
never
that's
know.
that's amazing. So we were going to have to wrap it up because we're running out of time. But
I
before
know,
we
I know,
do,
I know. We
I
can
know I
chat
just
all
want to
day.
talk. So before we do, what can you give us a quick overview about why strategy matters and what Encore is, sort of your Encore program?
Okay, so why strategy matters. Without a plan, without a vision, you're running around at your own at your own whims. Whatever you feel like you're going to fly with, or life is just going to show you, and you're going to be subject to everybody else's um, idea for you.
Hmm.
But with your own internal strategy, your own internal plan, and you start with something small and you move with that and you see how it works, and then you come up with your own way in which you operate. So Encore stands for E is for exit with intention, N is for navigate the new, um, C is for commit. You have to commit to it. Communicate equals authentic connections. O is for opportunities. A lot of times people don't recognize opportunities. Not only do they not recognize them, but they are afraid to create the opportunity or to go after it when it presents itself. Then next you have R for relevance. You have to be relevant within your own life. You have to be present. And then it has to resonate with your everyone in your sphere of influence, whether it's your family, your business, your job, or everything has to resonate with that, along with the market you're pursuing or the job you're going after. And then it has to be realistic. And lastly, the E is for excellence. What is your standard of excellence? What are you the go to person that nobody else does better than you? That's who you are, and that's your personal trademark. So when we're looking at Encore, we're looking at not only redefining that, but now we're putting a shape around it and we're making it walk and we're making it happen. So our upcoming workshop that I have is redefining your leadership for 2026 and beyond. And that's where we're going to help you exit what no longer fits, walk into where what does, and then we're going to strategize that. And so for all of the women that are listening today that are part of Megan's group, Megan and I are going to do a personal session with you and help you come up with your strategic plan if you register. And we do have a early bird registration uh, up until February 13th. So she'll have all that information for you and be glad to share that with you. But that is why strategy matters. I wouldn't be here without strategy. I wouldn't be the woman I am without it. And as I was growing, I didn't know that that was my greatest gift until now.
Oh, that's exciting to
Yes,
know
it
that.
is.
Like
Yeah.
once you realize what that is, I think it's really special. So I love excellence. I tell people this story because I think that this phrase is really important and I'm hoping that somebody who really needed to hear it hears it. When I was a teenager, I adopted excellence as a core value and I didn't realize I did it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make excellence a core value. I was doing something, some kind of work. And somebody said to me, and I probably wasn't putting my all into it. And somebody said to me, if you don't have time to do it well now, when will you have time to go back and fix it? And
Wow.
that's right powerful because the logic of it, I couldn't fight the logic. And even if all you care about is efficiency, that means doing things well the first time is more efficient. It saves you time. Like, there are all these reasons why excellence is a
Hmm.
valuable thing. There are the other reasons that we normally think of, right? Because it's a good thing to be, it's a good thing to do, it's a good way to be. It makes you more credible, it helps more people. Like, there's a lot of reasons why excellence is a good thing. So that was one of the reasons it became a core value for me. I want to tell everybody how excited I am that we'll get to do those strategy sessions together. That is exciting. So please,
Yes.
if you're interested at all, I encourage you to get the early bird special and get the extra bonus that we're going to do your strategy session together, because it's going to be a pile of fun and so, so valuable. And we have to wrap it up for today, but I'm sure we will have Paula back for another episode. And I think there was so much wisdom today. I hope people took away all of the things that about strategy, about life, a legacy, encore, doing the hard thing, like all of it. I love that you used the word trailblazers, one of my favorite words.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so. I always enjoy talking with you. You know, it's like we're old friends, old girlfriends, and stuff like that. And I see us doing many things together in the future. And to all of your audience, I wish you the best, and I wish you well, and love yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for joining us. And I hope you have a magnificent day.